Now, it's easy to be lulled into a sense of complacency and here and first because life is sweet. I mean, the biggest annoyance would be the neighbour who starts his lawnmower at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Life is pretty good. But I'm going to take you back to when life wasn't so good for those in England back in 1940, and particularly at Richmond, which is about 16 kilometres up the river towards Hampton Court from London. And in the late autumn of 1940, Luftwaffe bombs fell on the Richmond Golf Course in England. That was annoying to the members. And being English, they had to do something about it and make rules to govern the event that bombing would interfere with their game. And they brought in their famous temporary rules. Now, although this is all over the internet, we can't actually authenticate whether this was true or not. So if anyone's got information as to they've seen the rule book, raise your hand. But Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's Ministry of Propaganda, found out about these rules and used as a theme of a broadcast by William Lord Hawthorne Joyce to ridicule the English, that they were so interested in a game of golf and, you know, this was a nation for the taking. So let's have a look at these rules. Well, that first one is fairly, makes sense, doesn't it? If you were playing a round of golf and you saw bomb shrapnel splinters, you'd want to pick it up and collect it. That would be a decent thing to do. What about if you were playing a game and bombs started to fall? Well, you can take cover, and you won't be penalised for it. And of course, you must avoid the red flags and the delayed action bombs because that could do serious damage. You could move the ball in the event of moving around shrapnel. That's perfectly reasonable, I think. A ball moved by enemy action. Well, that would have to be seen if you were out playing a game of golf and your ball was actually moved by a bomb falling and you were standing there. Well done, you.
Not near the hole.
Keep calm and whatever. And a ball lying in a crater. I mean, you have to cover all contingencies. Well, that makes sense to me. And what about if you were taking a stroke and you were put off your stroke by a bomb going off or an aircraft flying overhead? So all perfectly reasonable rules. And of course they had the bomb shelters there too. Things got really, really tough and you could head for there. So that was the Richmond Golf Club, and I think that those rules were eminently sensible in a time of great need.